Hello, everyone. I'm Aurelian, and welcome to the second of the series in which we discuss the historical background and interesting facts about the vehicles of the popular game War Thunder. Today we have the Gloster Gladiator represented across the British, Chinese, and Belgian nations in three variants represented. The Gladiator is a biplane fighter, and a legendary one at that for its ability to kind of punch above its weight. It was the last of the Royal Air Force's biplanes. The Gladiator was developed in the mid 1930s to replace the Bristol Bulldog, with its first flight being in 1934 as a prototype, and it was fully introduced into service in 1937. A total of 747 were built across their variants, with 216 being exported to a plethora of nations. Initially, the Royal Air Force wanted a faster, longer ranged plane with a minimum of 4 machine guns. Gloucester, at the time working on the Gloucester Gauntlet, began to work on the Gladiator to fulfill this contract. The difference between the variants is very simple. The main difference being that the Mark II variants have a slightly more powerful engine and have a three-bladed metal prop as opposed to a two-bladed wooden one. For some reason in War Thunder, the Chinese one is marked as a Mark I, but has a three-bladed metal one. The Sea Gladiator, on the other hand, is essentially a Gladiator Mark II, with the only difference being that it has what's needed for carrier operations. It has the arrestor hook, catapult attachments, a strengthened internal airframe, and technically a fairing on the bottom that would be used for lifeboats. Out of all the 747 Gladiators, 98 were Sea Gladiators, either built on their own or converted. All of the Gladiators were armed with the same 303 caliber Vickers machine guns, incorrectly represented here as Brownings. After their deliveries in 1937, they were first used in the Arab revolts that occurred from 1936 to 1935, excuse me, 1939 to do strafing runs, which resulted in 3 aircraft being lost to ground rifle fire. One thing that is interesting, though, is that it has an enclosed cockpit which allowed for the faster speeds that they were expected to maintain. Although in 1938 the delivery of Hurricanes and Spitfires began, the Gladiator was still kicking around, especially in secondary theaters and in foreign air forces. They saw extensive combat in France, Norway, Egypt, Malta, Greece, and more, including a few fateful sorties in the Battle of Britain. South African ace Marmaduke Paddle scored 15 kills in the Gladiator across North Africa and Greece and was the highest scoring Royal Air Force biplane ace, although he did claim up to 50 kills, especially considering the Greek theater of war. In some battles, he would claim up to 5 kills, but then Italian reports would show 2, so take it with a grain of salt. Aces often inflate their numbers. Shifting gears a little bit, China ordered 36 of these Gladiators that were meant to be fitted with the M1919 Brownings, firing 30-06 rounds. So in War Thunder, the Browning is accurate, but the 7.7mm is not quite as accurate. An interesting setup is that 2 of the machine guns are here kind of next to the pilot, and then the other 2 are out in the wings. They carry 2,000 rounds of ammunition, which is quite a bit for a biplane. China was the first nation to actually score an aerial kill in the Gladiator. On February 24th, 1938, above the skies of Nanking, Chinese-American pilot John Wong Sun Shui, apologize for any mispronunciations, we'll just call him his nickname, Buffalo, shot down a Mitsubishi A5M, which we can see kind of here in the game as the A5M4, which it is a monoplane fighter that was both faster and, I believe, more maneuverable. The Gladiators acquitted themselves extremely well in the Chinese theater, although they still struggled against the more modern monoplanes, especially when the Zeros were introduced. Buffalo, who we had just mentioned, scoring the first kill, was shot down and killed by an A6M0 in 1941. Buffalo was the first Gladiator ace and the first American ace of World War II. In the game, I quite enjoy the Gladiators because you can kind of show those fancy monoplane fighters such as the HE-112s who's boss. It is strange that the Sea Gladiator is 1.0 and the Mark II is 1.3, considering they are quite literally the same aircraft, but it is what it is. Having 4 machine guns is always welcome in these low-tier battles, outclassing the 2 machine gun planes that are flying around. And at the same time, you maintain a sub 20-second turn time, outclassing most of the 1.3 monoplanes such as the P-36 and the HE-112. They're quite maneuverable, tough in my opinion, and they are lovely to look at, some of the best looking biplanes produced. Now, let's see if we can get into a fight here in the Sea Gladiator and get some kills. Alright folks, once again we had to kind of go down to arcade in order to actually get a game. But here we are. We're in Tux Gladiator Mark II here, which has its beautiful silver skin. We're going to be fighting on this air domination mode. Not my favorite mode, but we'll make it work. I tend to like to stay to the outside and pick off any stragglers rather than jumping into the main hairball. As we can see here, we are in kind of a 1.3 to 1.7 area, it looks like, so we'll see how well we do. Again, I'm here for the history and not to be good at the game. RIP to that CR714, that was a very quick takedown. Does not look like anybody's wanting to pick a fight with us, so we're going to turn back in towards the hairball a little bit. I kind of want to wait for people to clash some, so that way I can kind of get in on the action without risking myself. It does appear that BF-109 is coming straight for us though, so we'll see if we can do a quick turn on him. Hopefully we don't lose this head on entirely, as we can see those 4 machine guns putting in the work, and our ability to outturn this 109 is coming in helpful, as he is not taking the boom and zoom mentality. Getting a few hits here and there, but he's driving us down to the deck with his superior top speed. Although him turning in front of us, that would have been an easy kill if I could actually aim. We are wasting some shots here, but he's allowing us to. Got a severe damage on him, took out his elevator, and he bailed out. Not the best display from me, but again, we're here to have fun. Let's go ahead and jump into the hairball here and see if we can help out some of our teammates. The HE-51 is probably our easiest prey here, so we're going to focus on him, especially since he's on the tail of a teammate. Having the machine gun spaced out a little bit does make it somewhat difficult for me to aim, I feel like. Especially not with them being in the nose. Got the kill there. Oh, want to steal a kill. There is this BF-2C flying around, which I think we will go for as best we can. Although, he decided to come for us. Oh, we are down to our 2 nose guns. We are wasting a whole bunch of ammo, and we're going to go ahead and reload if we can, which is the nice thing about the arcade mode. Otherwise, we would have had to already go back to the airfield, although there isn't one here. Now, looking at that big conga line, jumping on that F3F, that's unfortunate. We're going to see if we can help out here with the Sea Hurricane. A bad idea for us to try and fight, but it is a pretty high priority target for us. He's going to have the engine advantage as well as the gun advantage on us. But it appears that he has wasted quite a bit of his airspeed. Maybe he's got an engine issue. Kind of just sit here and throw some rounds. Oh, okay. I was going to say throw some rounds at him, but somebody threw their entire plane. Gonna try not to hit our friend there. There we go. We got him into a tailspin. Gonna try and stay back and high to try and help out here. Goodness gracious, somebody in a Fokker is doing very well. There is a very hairy hairball down there that I don't necessarily want to involve myself in, but we're here to be entertaining. We have the CR-32 here first. Got a kill assist. The F2C can turn very well. As you can see, we are going to keep on his tail best we can. Not quite have enough nose authority there. Taking us on some loop-de-loops. And here we go. Get some good shots in. He's juking. Driving us towards the deck here. We have a teammate who's firing over our shoulder and is probably going to end up hitting us. If I could aim, that would be lovely. Yeah, we got the kill assist. Have a PA-65 up here, probably a little bit too far out. Let's turn on this KI-10. Get him off of the tail of our friend here. Once again, missing our shots, and he's taken out. But now we have bigger problems, like a Fokker and an HE-51 coming in. What never fails with these air domination battles is that there is quite the hairball at all times. That HE-51 just maneuver killed himself. Here we have another HE-51. Hopefully we can get some good shots on him while he crashes into us. Excellent. Well, I think that is us going out in tux. We'll come back in the Sea Gladiator. 3 aircraft killed. Not great for an arcade match, but not terrible. Now we will come in the Sea Gladiator here. Once again, it's functionally the same, just a few different add-ons there, like the arrestor hook that you can see, to make it able to do some carrier stuff. So far it appears that we are winning, with a vast majority of their team already having quit the battle. Hopefully we can get there in time to help out. Try and clear up this hairball. There we are. In the zone. We'll try and maintain some amount of altitude authority, although these fights always go down to the deck in this game mode. I am a little worried about this Hurricane and KI-43 combo that I see. That CR-32 appears to be dead, and then an HE-112. I suppose we will be fighting this KI-43 and Hurricane up here, although I don't really fancy my chances all by myself. I'm simply not that good of a pilot. But we do have the HE-100, so hopefully that will be able to help us out some, although he's flying away from us. They're also in a squadron, so I'm probably about to lose rather hard. But it's worth it to at least try and give you guys something entertaining. Out of the two, I'm a little bit more worried about the Hurricane. I'm also bleeding all of my airspeed, although it looks like they are too. Oh dear, this is bad. Oh goodness gracious. Well, I hope that everybody had a fun time watching me absolutely fail in the Gladiators. I'll be returning back to hangar now.